Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Now that the stimulus package, the American Rescue Plan, has passed the United States Senate, it passed with 50 Democratic votes and it passed with 49 Republican votes. Every single Republican senator voted against the American Rescue Plan. One of the Republican senators couldn't vote because he had a family emergency. So therefore, the Democrats had the majority. They did not need the tie-breaking vote from the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Here's the headline of an article on your screen that was published by the Washington Post. What you need to do to get the third stimulus payment of up to $1,400. Now, as always, you'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. So make sure you check them out. So let's dig deeper into some questions. Will you have to do something specific to get the $1,400 stimulus check? Now, the IRS will send out stimulus checks based on the 2019 or the 2020 tax returns, whatever most recent tax returns they have on file. So if your 2020 income was lower than 2019, which it most likely was, if you had more dependents in 2020, it makes sense for you to file your 2020 tax returns because your eligibility will be expanded if your income was lower and if you had more dependents. Because the way the stimulus checks are going out is that they depend on your filing status, meaning whether you're a single filer, head of household, or if you're filing as a married couple. The stimulus checks depend on your income, your adjusted gross income from all the different sources. Let's say maybe you made some stock dividends or stock purchases or stock sales, short-term, long-term capital gains. And these stimulus checks also depend on the number of dependents you have. Now, for the first time with the third stimulus check, adult dependents, in other words, we're talking students of college age over the age of 17, including any adult parents perhaps, or adult individuals that you're looking after, adult dependents will also qualify for stimulus checks. So here's where things stand right now. So if your income was too high based on your adjusted gross income for your most recent tax return, but you think you may be eligible based on your circumstances from 2020, it does indeed make sense for you to file your tax returns as quickly as possible. So, for example, some individuals lost their jobs last year. I've talked about individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality having lost their jobs, in some cases permanently. You may have had a child, in which case that would make them eligible for the dependent stimulus of $1,400. All these factors impact your stimulus check. Again, the stimulus checks depend on your filing status, depend on your income, your adjusted gross income based on your most recent tax return, and the stimulus checks depend on the number of dependents you have. Now, everything comes down to line 30 of your tax form. Here's the headline of an article from the Washington Post on your screen. To claim your stimulus payment, look for line 30 of your 1040 tax form. Now, there are tax professionals who can do this for you. There's do-it-yourself software, but line 30 of the IRS form 1040 will be very crucial for you to get your entire stimulus check, not just your third stimulus check of $1,400, but also to make sure that you got the first stimulus check and the second stimulus check in case you haven't got it already. Now, I want to be clear, if you received your first stimulus check and your second stimulus check, including any payments for eligible children, you don't have to do anything. But if you did not get your first stimulus check or your second stimulus check, or you didn't get the money that was due to you, then line 30 of IRS form 1040 becomes extremely important. I will be covering this in more detail in future videos because this is something that I have to dig deeper into. But here's the bottom line as far as line 30 is concerned. You have to fill in the amount of the total credit that is owed to you that you haven't received from either the first or the second round of stimulus checks. If you received a partial payment, you would include the balance of the credit that you were owed. Let's say you were supposed to get $1,200 for the first stimulus check and $600 for the second stimulus check. You got the $1,200, but you did not get the $600. In this case, you would put in the amount of $600 in line 30 of IRS form 1040. Now, this is where things get interesting. Let's say you did get both stimulus checks, but you had a child in 1040 and you're looking for stimulus payments for the child, because your child, if your child was born in 2020, would have been eligible for the first stimulus check and the second stimulus check, not adult dependents though. The adult dependents are introduced, eligibility for adult dependents is introduced with the third stimulus check. So let's go back to this example. And if you had a child in 2020 and you did not get the stimulus check payment for the child, both the stimulus check payments for the child, then that is where you would use line 30 in IRS form 1040. You would then, in this scenario that I just mentioned, be able to claim $1,100 in line 30 of IRS Form 1040, you would get $500 for your child with the first CARES Act, with the first round of stimulus checks, because with the first round of stimulus checks, children get $500, and with the second stimulus check, children get $600. When you add $500 and $600, you now get a grand total of $1,100 that you can claim on line 30 of IRS Form 1040. Now, I want our viewers and subscribers to know that the income eligibility based on your AGI, your adjusted gross income, is different for the third stimulus package. So keep in mind that the AGI phase out happens sooner than the previous two stimulus packages. So it's quite possible that there could be some individuals who received the first stimulus check and the second stimulus check, but who are not going to get the $1,400 third stimulus check because they simply made too much money based on the new income thresholds that were passed by the United States Senate, that are going to be passed by the House, that is going to be signed into law by the President. So if you file as an individual and your AGI, your adjusted gross income, is more than $80,000, you're going to get nothing, and neither are your dependents. The cutoff is $120,000 for individuals filing as head of the household, and couples earning more than $160,000 will phase out of a payment entirely. Now, if you're not sure of your AGI, which is your adjusted gross income, you can talk to a tax professional, look at your tax software, but it's found on line 11 of IRS Form 1040 and 1040 SR for the year 2020. It's on line 8B of your federal 2019 tax return. So keep that in mind. In terms of how you'll get your money, if your electronic deposit information is on file with the IRS, you'll get your money fairly quickly. You could get your money within the next 8 to 10 days. If the IRS is going to mail you a check, you can expect your money towards the end of the month or sometime next month, depending on how the IRS gets around to mailing out all these checks, and depending on how good the United States Postal Service is at getting these checks in your mailbox. Now, there is one important factor here about the adult dependents. Even though adult dependents are eligible for the stimulus checks, this money will go to the primary taxpayer, the one who files the taxes. It's not going to go to the dependents. So let's say you have 3 dependents, all of whom are college-age children. Let's say 2 of them are college-age children and 1 of them is a senior who's your dependent. The money would go to the primary taxpayer. So the money will be issued to the taxpayer, not the dependent. However, self-supporting college students or young adults who are living on their own, who cannot be claimed as a dependent, may be eligible for their own stimulus payment of up to $1,400. So this is important. Again, a self-supporting college student or a young adult who's living on their own, who cannot be claimed as a dependent, they might be eligible for their own stimulus checks, in which case they will get the stimulus checks themselves. It really depends on your tax returns. Like I said, this comes down to 3 things. This comes down to your filing status, your adjusted gross income, and number 3, this comes down to how many dependents you have on your most recent tax returns, whether it's your 2019 or your 2020 tax returns. That's it, everyone. I hope you found this video helpful. Please share this video with friends and family. That would really mean a lot to me. I know that it's not raining money right now. I know that. Check that out. It's not as if it's raining money, but this will help many of us. $1,400 goes a long way in helping many of us put food on the table, make rent, and keep the lights on. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help me out, my stimulus is you clicking the like button. That would mean a lot to me. That really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.